Hello, and welcome to another Rang Rouge unit of the week, and today we're taking a look at the Cromwell Mark III available to the Desert Ratch. So, the Cromwell tank was the British main cruiser tank from 1944 and above. Essentially, the British had a two-tank philosophy: infantry support tanks such as the Churchill and Matilda, which were slower and fatter and meant to support infantry advances, and then the Cromwell tank, a cruiser tank, which was to be a smaller, lighter tank that was fast, that you meant to use en masse, just like cavalry in the good old days, to puncture and encircle an enemy position, fighting force, etc. The British would end up making a Cromwell tank around about in 1944 to replace the older Centaur models, which are rather similar in design. The earlier Cromwells were fitted with 6-pounder guns such as the Mark III, while later ones would be fitted with the 75mm, mainly due to the fact it had much better high explosive capabilities. But the Cromwell would see service throughout the rest of the Second World War by the British until they went rid of the good old Centurion tank, and instead of just having an infantry and cruiser tank, why don't we just have one tank that could just do both? In-game, the Cromwell Mark III is a 110-point medium tank, available only in sea phase to the Desert Ratch, and it has 2 weapons. So your weapon loadout consists of one 6-pounder gun, and 2 regular old machine guns. It's pretty standard stuff. The 6-pounder shoots slightly faster than a regular 75, though it lacks high explosive ammunition, and 2 machine guns is always better in run. Take a look at the miscellaneous stats. You got 7 frontal armor, 5 at side and 4 at back, and you are an enclosed vehicle. You have very bad stealth, a speed of 35 km off-road and 70 km on the road, and very low optics capability. In battle, the Cromwell Mark III is a rather interesting medium tank for the Desert Ratch. Now, compared to the regular old Cromwells, it is 10 points cheaper, and the main difference is you have a 6-pounder instead of a 75mm gun. It means that you have no high explosive ammo, so you're pretty terrible at infantry support. You don't have a 50 cal like a Sherman does, you only have 2 machine guns. But the main difference is that you have 8 rounds a minute compared to the regular old 6, allowing you to be much more efficient when dealing with enemy tanks. And because it is 110 points, you can buy 1 per minute in sea phase for the Desert Ratch. Now, what makes this really peculiar is by sea phase, this isn't exactly a super useful unit, because it's going to be either one or two possibilities. If you're fighting against more infantry-focused German division, such as 716th, Fallschläger, Luftwaffe, etc., it's not going to be that great, because there's not really that many tanks to deal with to begin with, so you don't really need a dedicated anti-tank tank. And if you're fighting against more heavily armoured tank divisions, such as Panzerlehr, 12th, Rheintown and Sea Phase, Grob Deutschland I guess now, is the problem is they're going to have Panther tanks, and Panthers aren't going to be that easily killable, where a Cromwell Mark III, a 6-pounder, is not going to be enough. So once again, a little bit useless. It would really be more useful in the B and A phase, but the reason being is it's kind of the gimmick for sea phase Desert Ratch. You're meant to be using this more of a mobile sense to try and flank heavier tanks, or just try to deal with enemy like vehicles and medium vehicles such as Panzer IVs. Now, it is pretty good card efficient rise, as you do get 8 per card of 1-star veterancy, so it's not bad in that regard. It's just by sea phase the target tree is going to be so thin or so big, yeah, you don't really need his medium style tank. But I still recommend taking it, as because it's just good card efficiency, and if you are fighting against an opponent who is spamming half-tracks and Panzer IV still in sea phase, you can definitely punish them very well with the Cromwell Mark III. So overall, a very interesting tank, just due to how it is set up phase rise in game. And I'm going to shut up and leave it. Yeah, this has been another Rang Rouge unit of the week. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and as usual, please just take it easy.